invocation, and we have Malaya Walker. Please come forward and just whenever you're ready. I want to make sure the green light, there you go.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we are so grateful that we're able to come together as citizens of this county, and please help all of these leaders that they will be able to be led by Thee and be able to make the right decisions and be able to keep everybody in mind. And please help all of those that sacrifice all of their time for the citizens, that they will be able to be blessed in their families and in their work. And please help all of the citizens of this county that they will also be able to be blessed and be able to come together as one, and be able to come together as one in Thee, and be able to serve each other. And I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Nolte? Here. Commissioner Withington? Here. Commissioner Lawson? Here. Commissioner Wagner? Here. Commissioner Johnson? Here. Commissioner Thompson?
Here.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Here.
Next on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. Commissioner Johnson.
Move to approve tonight's agenda.
Motion has been made for the approval of this evening's agenda. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Withington?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson? Yes. Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Excuse me. Next item is our public comments. Are there any members of the public who would like to come forward and address any comments not on the agenda to the commission? Seeing none. That brings us to our consent agenda. Administrator?
The consent agenda allows the Commission to act upon items considered to be routine and approved in one motion. These may include items that have been reviewed by the Commission in a prior session. There will be no separate discussion unless a Commissioner requests that the item be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. There are 4 items on the consent agenda this evening. The first item is Resolution 2024-104, approving invoice payments for Clay County for the period of March 22nd through March 28th. There are a total of 383 invoices totaling $991,199.77. Resolution 2025-107, approving an RFP with Blue Valley Laboratories Incorporated for stormwater consulting for the Parks Department. Resolution 2024-108 is the purchase of a Padfoot roller and capital project encumbrance request with Murphy Tractor. And Resolution 2025-109 is approving the purchase of a large excavator and capital project encumbrance request with GW Van Keppel.
Thank you. Is there a motion on this evening's consent agenda? Commissioner Johnson.
Move to approve tonight's consent agenda.
Motion is moved for the approval of this evening's consent agenda. Discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Withington? Yes. Commissioner Lawson? Yes. Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson? Yes. Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Next item is regular agenda. We have 3 items. The first one being 2025-106. Administrator?
Resolution 2025-106 is a request of waiver of fees, interest, penalties, and taxes due to a county error by Ms. Jacoby. I'd like to introduce Dieta Jacobs, our Administrative Services Director, who will provide the Commission with some information. And then I do believe that Mrs. Jacoby is in the audience and will also then provide information to the Commission.
Thank you.
Good evening, Dieta Jacobs, Administrative Services Officer. We've had a request for waiver of fees from Ms. Jacoby due to the lack of access to her mail. Ms. Jacoby has indicated that she has had problems getting a working key to her mailbox, her apartment mailbox. Our records show that the original bill was sent in November to the address on record of 1010 Northwest 79th Terrace, and that an attempt to make a payment was made on February 21st using an e-check system. However, that check did not clear the bank, which incurred an additional fee. Ms. Jacoby did not realize that that fee was declined, or that charge was declined, until she was able to get mail from the post office in March, which incurred additional fees. You will also see on there a fee for assessment. Ms. Jacoby was assessed for 2023 and 2024 in July of 2024. So that's where some of the additional penalties are. She is not asking for a reimbursement of the return check fee of $25. She is only asking for a return of the remainder of the fees and penalties. She did come in and pay with a credit card on March 25th.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. If the applicant would like to come forward and state your name and your address, and then give us whatever information that you would like us to hear related to your application.
Hi there, my name is Megan Jacoby. I've had a terrible time getting my key. I moved in 2 years ago now, and I just received my key a month ago maybe. And it's been a terrible time getting my mail, and I think it was March 18th or 17th that I wrote down that I finally received a huge box of mail full of letters of delinquent bills and whatnot. And that is when I received the notice that the payment that I originally had tried to make had never gone through. But I wasn't aware of that because the post office was having such an issue getting my key. I tried to have them put in writing when they were holding my mail, when I finally got my key, how many times I had gotten a key in error, but they flat out refused. So I'm here just hoping that the penalties and not the bounced error of the $25, but everything else could possibly be waived because I just wasn't aware of it, not due to my own fault. Thank you.
If you just wait a moment, there may be some commissioners who have questions. Commissioner Johnson.
Ms. Jacoby, thanks for coming in. So I want to clarify a couple things here. I think I understand. You live in an apartment complex, right?
Yes.
And you probably have a central mailbox location, and each mailbox has its own key. And it's not the apartment complex, but it's the actual post office that gives you a key to that mailbox.
Yes.
And when you either lose your key or you move in, you have to go through the post office to get a new key, right?
Yes.
And that process takes how long to get a new key for your post office?
When they originally tell you it could be 4 to 6 weeks, I did get a key in 4 to 6 weeks. It was for the wrong box and for the wrong slot. So I went back. That was when I first moved in back in, I don't remember, it was 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
And they got me another set of keys. This one was for the right box, but for the wrong slot.
Yeah.
So I went back, and that was November of last year, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was waiting and waiting, and every time I would go in to check and ask for my mail, they would give me what they had. Sometimes when I had a package from Amazon that I know was at the post office, even though they didn't bring it from the back, I would have to give them the tracking number, and they would have found more mail stashed somewhere else.
Yeah.
So it was just this.
What post office are you dealing with?
It's the one in Gladstone, I believe. I did not write down
Yeah.
the.
Off of, is it Berry Road?
Broadway and 72nd.
Broadway, yes, that one.
Okay, here's the deal, ma'am. So my daughter is going through the exact same thing with the exact same mail or post office. I can't tell you how many months it's been. that since she's been able to get into her mailbox at her apartment here over in near there. So one of the so normally we can't waive these things unless it's the fault of the county. Obviously, this isn't our fault, but this is one of those things where we've had problems with the post office in the past. To me, I find it difficult to hold you accountable for something like this when the post office really just doesn't do their job. And that's really what this is coming down to. And it frustrates me. It frustrates me because I know exactly what you're going through, because I'm still watching my daughter go through. She still does not have her key. So I see someone else wants to talk, but before those are my thoughts. I'll let the next person talk.
Commissioner Withington, you'd like to be recognized?
So I was just going to make a motion that we approve, let me get the right number here, 2025-06 with the box mark approved.
104?
106, or what is it? 2025-106.
106, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I was on the wrong part of the agenda,
Yeah.
okay.
So I wanna make a
Before you go
motion-
ahead, let me go ahead and restate your motion, and then please continue from there. Motion has been made for the approval of 2025-06 with the box checked approved. Motion is on the floor, so Commissioner Withington, go right ahead.
Yeah, no, that's it. You know, we've seen a lot of problems with the post office, and, you know, I think the precedent we've set is we usually side with the citizen when there's an issue with the post office, so I'm glad to approve this.
Thank you.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Hey, thanks for coming out today. Sorry you've had to go through all this. I'm sort of still 50-50 on this one, in part just because of the length of time. We're talking June of 23 all the way to, it seems like March of 25, which feels like a long time for this to have gone on. That being said, I'll share a post office story too, and it's from the same post office. It's the one I tend to use as well. So somebody ran over my mailbox several weeks ago, and in the time that it took to buy a new one and get it installed and all that, we put a hold on our mail, and you can do that up to like a month, I think, worth of a hold. But instead of doing that, they did a bunch of return to sender to various places. So I've been fielding calls from like the bank and stuff saying, "We got a return to sender. Did you move?" et cetera, et cetera. So. Yeah, no, just little things like that. They seem to be struggling mightily at the United States Postal Service. Hopefully they'll get better soon. I know we've got maybe our county assessor wants to speak to it. I do regret that you find yourself in the situation. The big, the size of this fine obviously is significant. So my only question, I think, is around the length of time. So June of 23 to March of 25. It just seems like a long time to not get the key situation resolved.
Oh, believe me, I went there almost weekly and would check for my key, and I asked for a supervisor for several times, and I never got an answer as to who was there, either a phone call or in person. And it wasn't until quite recently when I did finally get my key that another worker who I hadn't seen there before, I didn't get his name. He finally gave me the name and number to somebody there, and it wasn't the next day that I finally got the correct key. And he apologized profusely, but it still doesn't make up for that length of time that I was without my key, that I would have to make weekly trips to the post office. Yeah. To see if I could get my mail and to see if the key had arrived, which in my personal opinion is beyond ridiculous. But yeah.
Gotcha, thanks.
By the way, Commissioner Carpenter, I also had my mailbox run over about 3 or 4 years ago, and I also used that same location for a post office, so.
Yes, I hope they held your mail more successfully than mine.
Yeah, there seems to be a pattern, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Did, Mr. Baldwin, did you care to speak?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Tracy Baldwin, Clay County Assessor. I just wanted to point out a couple things. There isn't, like Deetta Jacobs explained, there is an $85 late assessment fee on there that shouldn't be considered in these because it was not done until July of ’24, so it would have been late, so the $85 would stand on that. The other portion of it, Ms. Jacoby did try to pay February 21st of '25. So at that time, she did know there was a bill out there in February, and I didn't know if I could just throw it out there that the collector could maybe calculate it to the February date, since there was some confusion. But she did try to pay it February 21st, so she did know that there was a bill out there at that time, and I didn't know. I hate to speak for the collector, but that could be a solution to that.
Thank you for that clarification. If you'd like to come back up, and if we have any more questions, and also if no one else has to speak, I did want to give you kind of the last word on before we go to a vote. So are there any other commissioners wishing for questions or comments? If you'd like to go ahead and kind of give us any final words on your appeal, then we will go for a vote. So please go ahead.
Yeah, it was just, I was aware that there was a bill that I had tried to pay, and I'm not asking for the bounced fee because obviously it didn't go through, and that's nobody's fault but mine. But I am asking for the penalties and other fees to be waived that came after that because I didn't have my mail to tell me that it hadn't gone through. I had no idea and no way of knowing. So that's all I'm asking.
Very well. If there are no other questions, Commissioner Withington, I believe the motion is yours. You are recognized for closing comments and to close. Oh, excuse me. There you go.
I close and I stand by my motion, so.
Motion, okay. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Withington?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner? Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Very good. So go ahead and talk with staff, and they'll make sure that you can get the logistics taken care of on that.
Okay, do I do that now?
Yeah, go ahead and go with
Okay,
Ms. O'Reilly.
Thank you so much.
That brings us to the next item, which is 2025-105, Administrator.
Resolution 2025-105 is approving invoice payments for Clay County Prosecutor's Office from March 22nd to March 28th. There are 10 invoices totaling $1,669.58.
Proceed.
I'm just early.
Oh, you're certainly. Okay, I thought you were presenting this was. No problem. Commissioner Johnson.
Move to approve 2025-105.
Motion's been made for the approval of 2025-105. Discussion, seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Withington? Yes. Commissioner Lawson? Yes. Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson?
I recuse myself.
And Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Motion passes 5 in favor, 1 recusal.
Issue on our regular agenda, that would be 2025-103, Administrator.
Resolution 2025-103 is approving the declaration of restrictive covenant regarding petroleum contamination. This is out at the Midwest National Air Center. And as our speaker is at the podium and ready to go, Donna Coons is here to provide some information to the commission.
Now you may proceed.
Thank you, Commissioners. Donna Coons, Deputy County Administrator. What I'm here tonight for is that we have a piece of property that is adjacent to our Midwest National Air Center that happens to be a site of a former filling station that had above-ground storage tanks. To the best of our knowledge, this filling station closed sometime in the 70s. As part of our property, and we have the Clear Creek that runs around our property, we have guidelines and restrictions that we must follow for the Missouri Department of Natural Resources. And part of that process is to do groundwater testing, what we call well samplings. And we have been doing that for the course of the last several years. by approving a restrictive covenant stating that we would never drill a drinking water well for water sources at the Midwest National Air Center. And we are on Kansas City, Missouri water service at the airport. This then limits us needing to test for water contamination for drinking water sources.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Johnson, you look like you were leaning forward to press your button. I'm early on everybody. I'm sorry. I'm just in a rush, I guess. Let me go ahead and put you on there, Commissioner Johnson, and there is a comment to be made. Go ahead. We can make the motion, and then we can certainly take comments after that.
Move to approve 2025-103.
Motion has been made for the approval of 2025-103. Commissioner Wagner?
Thank you. Just so we're clear, I will be supporting that motion, but I just did have a quick question. Obviously, the covenant speaks to that activity of water wells. My assumption, and this is why I'm asking the question, any other usage that we would want to do on that piece of property, there are no issues with doing that, correct?
No, we still have full control. We're just stipulating that we would not drill a well specifically for drinking water. That's the only stipulation we're putting on that piece of land.
Okay, well, since we've talked about development and all those sorts of things, it was pretty obvious, but just wanted to state the obvious, or have you state the obvious, so appreciate that. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Commissioner Johnson, you're recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Johnson? Commissioner Withington?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson? Yes. Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson? Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
That concludes our regular agenda. Next, our discussion items. We have one item up for discussion. Administrator?
Yes, thank you. So you may have heard there's a big event happening next year. The World Cup is scheduled to be in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, and Kansas City is one of the host cities. And we have been working diligently on how do we market to Clay County, and beyond that, working with our North partners. And so we thought it might be interesting for the Commission to hear from Megan Schaffeld, our Communications and Marketing Manager, to talk about what are we doing and how are we partnering with Clay County and our municipalities in Clay County and Platte County. So turn it over to Megan.
Thank you, Diana. Megan Schaffeld, Tourism and Marketing Coordinator, Manager, all the things tourism, you name it. Let's talk about the World Cup. I know there's been a lot of murmurings about, what's to be expected, what's coming. So I'm going to do a high-level recap of just what this event entails. We're looking at 48 teams, 104 matches, 16 cities, 3 countries, 5 million fans attending, 6 billion fans watching, and 343 days to go. Actually, 349 till the Kansas City matches, so we got a little bit more time. There's a couple of changes with this tournament as opposed to the previous tournaments. Quite big changes, actually. We went from 32 teams to 48. And we went from 64 matches in the previous 22 Doha tournament to 104. So it's expanded quite a bit, which leads to the next question is, what can we expect here locally? So the numbers they're throwing out right now, you're looking at 650,000 visitors. And we had 26 days between our initial match in Kansas City and the last match, which is our quarterfinal match. They're estimating 1.5 billion viewers for the Kansas City matches. So there's going to be a lot of eyes on this region, and we're really excited about it. We have 10 local sponsors for Kansas City. The 6 matches that we have are going to be held on June 16th, 20th, 25th, 27th, July 3rd, and then the quarterfinal match on July 11th. Interesting about the 25th, that is also a day that the United States men's play. So that's going to be a really big match day. We're pretty excited about that. There are 3 potential base camps that'll be in the directory, and it's going to be quite a while before we figure out, who's been selected. They're not guaranteed to be selected, and which countries have selected them. You're looking at probably early 26 for this information, but we're going to do the best we can with what we have, there's a lot we can do. We're very excited about. Those base camps are going to be, or are listed as the Rock Chalk Park in Lawrence. You've got the Compass National Facility in KCK, and then the one we're really excited about is the KC Current Training Facility in Riverside. So a lot of potential there for more support, more visitors coming to the area. And the economic impact they're talking is $652 million. It's massive. They're also saying that the event's expected to support 6,700 jobs. So this is on a huge scale that we've never seen in our region, and it's extremely exciting to have that in our backdoor, in our backyard. So we are looking at local planning. And when you have an event of this magnitude coming, it presents really unique opportunities. So for tourism in the Northland, something I'm very excited about is our partnership with Platte County and with the municipalities within the two counties. It's allowing us to create a new website, a new brand, consolidated messaging, consolidated event listings, joint marketing efforts, meaning our funding can stretch further. And then it allows us to have a legacy project in this website. So we are looking at the name gonorthkc.com. We think it represents the Northland. It's very simple. It's very to the point. Tells people where to go. That's going to roll out this year. We've got the RFP published, and we're very excited about it. Some of the other marketing plans we have, we're obviously going to be doing lots and lots of digital. We'll be doing print, email marketing, and then I'll talk a little bit about the Brand USA. So we'll plan on using the agency of record with Missouri, and we're going to funnel a lot of our advertising efforts through their MMG, which is the Matching Marketing Grant Program they have, which allows us a 50-50 match on these dollars. So we can spread our funding twice as far, which is excellent news. We also have the ability to receive a $10,000 matching grant for the website. So the state is extremely supportive, and we're taking advantage of all the grant opportunities that we can with it. The digital will be looking towards Meta, Google, streaming services, applicable apps. The apps have little banner ads that we're looking at too. We're looking at print, maps. There is a company that, we can filter through a lot of the hotels, the points of interest, the welcome centers. So we're going to have a unified map of the Northland too, which showcases the points of interest and highlights areas of different activities that we'll be having going on. And we'll also have a QR code for the website. We're looking at email campaigns, a couple different ways you can do email campaigns. Direct, so on the new website, we'll have a contact form. If you're interested in learning more, go ahead and fill out this form. We'll capture that information, and then we can push out newsletters and email posts as information comes available. And then we're looking at email campaigns with partners. So you've got a lot of organizations, youth soccer teams, club teams, youth soccer organizations. One of the biggest is the United States is here in our area. So that's another partner we're looking at. Brand USA, this is a new opportunity that we're really excited to be able to take advantage of. In fact, I think I have a little clip of it there. This is live right now. Clay County's never had a presence that I know of on Brand USA, which is visittheusa.com. This is our United States marketing website. This is our tourism website. So we're excited that the state of Missouri the Missouri Division of Tourism put out a 90-10 grant for us. So we snagged it up. They paid the 90, we paid the 10%, and we are now live with a suggested itinerary that highlights historic sites, family-friendly activities, outdoor activities on the visittheusa.com website. So that was pretty exciting. And then local planning. We have a lot. This is just a snippet, but we have on the team, the committee that's with Clay County and Platte County, we have representation from a lot of the major municipalities, and so we're working with them to plan local activations or watch parties, on the new website, we're going to be building out itineraries. So much like you saw in the Brand USA, we're going to have our own itineraries that will suggest, okay, if you have a family, here's some really great places to visit in Clay County and Platte County. And these are our historic sites. You know, we've talked to the professionals, the international reps with Visit Mo and Visit KC, and next to the matches themselves, everyone says historic sites. These folks are really excited to see what America has to offer. You know, the old Wild West, you know, the Jesse James Historic Museum, the bank. These are all going to be highlights that we're really excited to showcase to the visitors. Also, you know, local food and beverage. And then we have some wonderful attractions like Worlds of Fun and the Rabbit Hole that we're eager to showcase as well. Another opportunity would be to do a digital discount pass. So this is not an app, you don't have to download it. It is a cloud-based free app for our visitors and our locals to take advantage of. We have, right now, we're building it out, we have about 23 participating breweries, wineries, and bars that are all local. So once it launches, which it's going to launch in Clay County in the next couple months, I'm really excited about this one, guys. And then we will expand that to Platte County next year. So for 26, we're going to, you know, cross the county line there and expand it into Platte. And this will be something else that we get a highlight on the printed material, the digital materials. You know, let's help improve the engagement with our local businesses. And this is beyond Clay and Platte and the cities. We've actually also pulled Park University into the fold and William Jewell into the fold, and we're exploring possible opportunities with them and their campuses. And the committee that we have right now, we're meeting bi-monthly, but I think we're gonna up it, the suggestion is to up it to monthly so we can keep moving the needle on all these projects, because there's a lot that we're moving on, and there's a lot of great minds in the room and great ideas. So we're meeting bi-monthly, soon to be monthly. And then we're also in close contact with members of the KC26 team. I have monthly meetings with them to keep that line of communication open and make sure our messaging aligns with theirs, and our planning is something that we can put on the MARC calendar once we solidify things a little bit more, and keep the ball rolling in the right direction, pun intended. Do you have any questions?
Are there any questions, Commissioner Wagner?
Thank you, and thanks for the presentation, Megan. I know you've been doing a lot of hard work, and appreciate you reporting on that today. So just two quick things to ask about. One is a little bit self-serving as I'm working on this project, but in the midst of all of this is the 4th of July and the 250th anniversary of the founding of the country. And so would certainly suggest throwing in all of those activities for those who want to see a bunch of fireworks, not just at the stadiums that these things are being played at, but around. And I don't know if that's kind of out there.
So we'll certainly be highlighting other events in the community and in the region, along with the World Cup focused events.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, if the city of Riverside or North Kansas City has a big event, we're happy to showcase that as well.
Perfect.
And make sure that folks are aware of it.
No, that's fine. And then the other question, which you may not be able to answer, and maybe Administrator, this is for you, or John's back there. I would certainly expect, as part of all those assets, you'll talk about Smithville Lake.
Yes.
But I didn't know if there was any special, if we knew of any special activity that we were doing to highlight that, or in anticipation of maybe increased numbers. You know, that's our biggest recreational asset. I just wasn't sure how we were treating it, or what we were thinking about in preparation for World Cup.
Sure, and I'll answer a tiny bit,
Yeah.
and then I'll, look to John a little bit, but, we plan on putting it in the one of the itineraries, especially as we focus family-friendly and outdoor activities. There's gonna be kind of an outdoor enthusiast one, and we're definitely gonna highlight that. Clay County is gonna have, large representation of what our points of interest are, and then each city is gonna have representation of what they have too. So it's going to, obviously your landing page is gonna highlight, the who, what, when, where, why, how to get around, I'll answer all those questions, but then we're gonna have areas where we can showcase the lake and any events, should they schedule them out there. Okay. I don't know if there's anything in planning quite yet for that, but
no, that's fine.
as they come up, we're definitely going to make sure that we put a spotlight on it.
Yeah, well, with 650,000 people, they could probably all fill the lake if they all showed up there one day. But just wanted to recognize that sometimes creating special programming for those folks who are coming into our area is probably necessary and probably creates some new opportunities. So my last thing I'll say, and the reason why I bring those things up, is simply one of the biggest pieces of an event like this is not just when they show up the first time, but hopefully they like what they see and they're going to come back again. Otherwise, you know, you can accept the big hit when they come for the event, but I want them to come back. And so that's why I ask. So thank you very much for your hard work.
Likewise. Thank you.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Thanks. Yeah, mostly just want to say thanks. Appreciate the presentation and all the work on it. Obviously, it's a big event coming up, and you have a big role to play in it. And to the extent that we can capture some attention and some spending, I think that would be fantastic for the area. And I also just want to co-sign to what Commissioner Wagner said about I think the confluence of July 4th, the 250th anniversary, and the fact that this is sort of a big international event with, all the nations sort of supporting their teams. I just think it's going to become thematically a very big thing in that time. And so I think thematically tapping into sort of the July 4th, 250th USA stuff, especially to the extent that we can sort of help promote the country in a good way before an international audience. I think there's a lot of value in that, especially in these times. And so, to whatever extent pro-USA content and propaganda can be part of the marketing campaign, I support that.
Understood. Yes, absolutely.
Thanks.
We're going to give them that big Midwest welcome with fireworks included.
Very good.
Any further questions or comments before we end the discussion? Seeing none? Oh, yes, Commissioner Johnson, did you? Oh, I saw you reach across, sorry. Thank you very much for giving us that update. We look forward to further information as we get closer to that date. Thank you.
Thank you all.
That brings us to County Administrator comments. Administrator?
Just that the next meeting of the commission will be April the 10th at 6 o'clock here in the chambers.
Thank you. Commissioner comments. We'll start with Commissioner Withington, please. No comments. Commissioner Lawson, there you go.
Yeah, just a couple. I always bitch about the roads, and then when the roads get fixed, I never say thank you. So thank you for everything you've been doing. One thing that I did have somebody call me on the other day, we blacktopped there off of 33 Highway and 184th, I think is the right, that you first turn off. And now that it's blacktopped, on that first curve you come around, I guess it's a little bit slick where it isn't on the chip and seal, but the blacktop has a tendency to be a little, I haven't lived on, been driving like a bat out of Hades on my blacktop lately, so I don't remember. But I noticed when I drove it that when you come to the second curve, there's some real nice signs that kind of have, show the curve. And maybe it will help those individuals who aren't real familiar to slow down. So I didn't know if y'all can look at maybe a couple of those little signs like that that'll deter anybody from going around there like a bat out of Hades. The other thing I did notice in driving back to see all my friends that live in the boonies is and I should have written those down, and I apologize, and I will write them down and give them to y'all. But there were any number of look like signposts with no signs on them. So I'll get a list of those as I see them, and there's something that we probably need to be looking at replacing. That's all I got.
Thank you. Commissioner Wagner?
Thank you. Just real briefly, just kind of because I'm reminded from the discussion we just had, just a reminder out there that there are a lot of folks working on 250th anniversary events for July 4th of next year, whether they are the Clay County Archives, the Sons and Daughters of the American Revolution, and other groups that are coming together for that. So it is just a reminder that even though we've got 650,000 people coming for a sports event, there are some other things going on in Clay County to celebrate a major event in our country's history. And I know I've had that conversation with Megan, and so more to come, but just to recognize that that is out there. The other thing that I wanted to mention, sticking to sports for a moment, and since it's been in the media, I thought I should at least recognize it. And all of you know, as we sent an email earlier this week, that our presiding commissioner and I were in Jefferson City to talk about that Clay County Sports Authority legislation that we've talked about here over the past couple of years. And I bring it up just to make very clear, I have no idea where the Royals or Chiefs are eventually going to go with their assets. And I think we have been very clear that we are not interested in competing with Jackson County for any of this. But as there are those who are interested in keeping those assets in Missouri, this effort that we did on Monday was an effort to keep that, to be a part of Team Missouri and to keep those assets here. We'll see where all that goes, but I do at least want to extend to those who have read news reports and all that sort of thing. We're doing what we think is best for the county to be in position for these assets. And even if we don't get any of them, I think the work that we did on Monday can be helpful for whatever we do in the future. So that's what we're about. That's what we're trying to do. And hopefully, whatever happens, it's going to be best for both the teams, but also the folks in Missouri, and we'll see how that happens. So just wanted to extend that, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Commissioner Johnson? Commissioner Thompson? Commissioner Carpenter? Oh, I'm sorry. I just breezed right by you there.
I know, surprise. I gotta keep you on your toes.
apologize.
It's all right, it's all right. So I'm gonna take a moment to thank a couple of our departments here in Clay County. So last week was Liberty School District's spring break. We've had a lot of breaks this year. A lot of kids at home. So I reached out to some of our departments and said, hey, can we have some field trips? So we had an impromptu one over at our assessor, and he was very welcoming to my children and filled them full of sugar and knowledge and then sent them out the door on their way. But then we had another planned visit out with Mr. Davis, John, back there, and he took us out to Mount Gilead, the old school, historic school, and church and cemetery, which my 4-year-old was very intrigued by the dead bodies buried in Clay County. But they had a great time. They really enjoyed experiencing what school had been like in 1889. We had a great lady came in full costume. They had wonderful. And then we went down to the Parks Department, where they've recently moved all the critters. So if you've not had a chance to go visit our critter friends, you should. I'm friends with them. There's a little blue-tongued skink who I'm going to take, and he's going to live with me when John lets me have him. If not, he should definitely bring them up here to visit. But they were very welcoming, told us about all the stuff they do. They had the critters out, we had snakes, they showed us the tarantula. My kids were racing with the turtles on the floor, but they had a great time, and it was wonderful. And then we ended our day by sitting on the docks and eating ice cream and watching the birds and the fish. So I want to thank everybody for all their help educating and entertaining my children last week, but also all of our employees here in Clay County. I am very fond of all of you, and you guys do a great job. So be prepared. Summer's coming, and I may very be showing up to your departments with 2 little boys for education, fun, and ice cream. So just be prepared. That's all I got.
Commissioner Carpenter, I don't know if you dare follow children, animals, and ice cream, but if you would like to, you just go right ahead.
Thank you, Commissioner. I do dare follow with sort of an opposite thing. So I'm not going to do a whole tariff thing again. I thought about it, but I've decided not to do it, so I'm going to spare everybody that, although we may circle back in the weeks to come. We'll see how things go. But I am going to do I like to call attention to things that I think are important or problems. I've talked a little bit with Commissioner Withington about this, but KCBD through the first 3 months of this year has the homicide numbers out. I don't know if y'all have been following the news, but we're on a kind of bad run here in the Northland with homicides. And it's just a thing that I don't know if it's going to be a long-term issue or not, but it's big enough of an issue, I think, that we ought to, be paying attention to it and, respond as necessary. Obviously, we've made big investments in public safety. I think that has been wise. And to the extent that we can have law enforcement agencies here in Clay County all partner together and work on it together, I think that's a good thing. But through the first 3 months of 2023, there were 0 murders in the Northland, 41 south of the river. In 2024, it was 0 in the Northland through the first 3 months, 29 south of the river. And so far in 2025, there have been 12 north of the river and 23 south of the river. So, with any kind of statistical distribution, you can have sort of spikes and flukes can happen. I certainly hope that this isn't a sustained trend, but it's, those are big enough numbers to me that plausibly it could suggest a trend, and just something to pay attention to, I think. And with that, I'm sorry for being opposite of Commissioner Thompson's remarks, but that's what I got. Thanks.
Sobering statistics indeed. I just have 2 things I want to mention. One is that we have our Citizen Academy going forward. Commissioner Johnson and I addressed, it was last night, wasn't it? That group. The other commissioners will, in their turn, be addressing that, and so will some of the office holders, the sheriff, et cetera. So I just think it's a great thing that we have the ability to reach out to our citizens and give them a more, up close and personal look at how county government functions. I think some people, it's easy to figure out how Washington, I will use the word works, but we'll just leave it at that. And the others are relatively obvious and familiar, but county government is a little less obvious on how it works. I think one of the great things, besides the familiarity with the citizens of our functioning government here, is that it gives them a chance to interact with those of us here who are elected officials. And if there's one thing that is, I think, one of the most healthy signs of a government is when the citizens feel comfortable coming to their elected officials and talking about what is on their minds, whether it is we hope that it will be positive, but sometimes it's not, but that they know that we are open, accessible, and that we are real people and listen to what their problems are with an open mind. The other things I'd like to echo Commissioner Wagner's comments. I think it went very well on Monday. It was certainly, I think, an ability to bring Clay County forward in that particular forum at the state level. And the observation that I would make would be on a bit more of a macro level, and that is this: regardless of what happens in these transactions, there are a couple of things that stand out to me. One is that we have, as a government and as a community, both businesses and government, conducted ourselves, I think, in a very professional manner, thanks to, of course, the team that is interacting most closely with the parties in question. But I think we've shown that we have the ability now to play in that larger field and to get those projects that I think may have in past years eluded us. The other thing that points out to me, and I've always been rather glass half full on these things, and that is Clay County is expanding, it's getting better, it's getting bigger, and our best days are absolutely ahead of us. And I think this is something that should give us all, regardless of our outcome, this should fill all of us with a degree of optimism that we can always do better and that we are on the road to an expanded and a better Clay County. So with that, thank you very much. We are adjourned.